welcome back to the Ramslands of the Designer We Are weekly podcast. We talk about the latest and greatest in graphic design news from around the web. Hey, my name is Terry, and I'm one of the co-hosts. I'm a UX UI designer from the Bay Area. I help bridge the gap between products and their end users. And I'm here with Adam, who runs the podcast. So Adam, take it away.
Hey, my name's Adam. I'm a designer from the San Francisco Bay Area. I specialize in visual UI design with a little bit of illustration. I like to give companies character.
Damn, I still like that line, even though I've heard it every week, except for New Year's week. But awesome. Okay. Today we are doing a little bit different regarding our podcast. We are actually going to be doing a live review of a portfolio. And if you click down onto the bottom, Adam's going to have a link down there. So basically, when you hear the podcast, it'll be the link so you can see the visuals of what we are talking about. But before we dive into the portfolio, everybody knows about Adam, everybody knows about me, but I would like to introduce Reysol Grant. He is a UX UI designer, and before he was doing that, he was doing graphic design, visual design, 3D, and then Reysol, I'm gonna have you just introduce yourself just for a few minutes, and then we're gonna hop into our what do we do during the week. So I'm gonna hand it off to you.
Well, hi guys, everybody out there. My name is Reysol Grant. I am a UI UX designer, graphic designer, industrial designer, any designer of whatever is in front of me. Been designing since 2000, and just trying to spread my wings and find other ways to solve problems. That's pretty much it.
Awesome.
I've designed just, I guess, to get a more broader view of what I've done. I've pretty much done more industrial design, designed a couple of toys for Capcom or Mortal Kombat. I've done a lot of minor work with Lowe's doing labels, candles, plates, and other odd objects.
Other odd objects. I like that. You know, our world is very odd anyways, so I'm going to end it on that. That's a great segue to talk about our week. So, Adam, how was your week?
My week was very productively unproductive through my work.
Nice.
Yeah. Through my work, we took a bunch of classes on productivity, and they happened to be day classes. I took two different courses, and one was a whole day, and the other one was two whole days. So I missed a lot of work, but in doing so, I learned a lot of tips and tricks to help get better. And I think because of that, I'm going to try to condense some of these learnings into little tidbits, and I want to incorporate into the podcast. So expect that in the future. I'm going to be breaking down some of the things I learned and hand it off to you all. Besides that, I didn't really do much else. I because of these classes, it was helping me kind of reorganize what I thought my like the things that I felt were important and the things that I wanted to focus on. And now I've shifted a lot from that. And so we'll see what I'll focus on now. But, from
Can
now, yeah, go ahead.
can you give us one example?
Well, some of the things it helped me determine was what I found most important in my life, in work and in my career wise, and then at home and my personal life, and what are the things I was really trying to focus on. And one of the things that they helped us do, one of the exercises is they made us free write for what our mission statement in life was. And what free writing is, you just grab a pen and paper, or you're typing on a Word doc, and you're writing for like about 5 minutes. And it's just a stream of consciousness writing. There's no editing. You're just kind of having a conversation with yourself, and you're putting it down on paper. What I discovered from that is, I always felt like illustration was a big focus and something I was striving to get to. And more, I'm finding that maybe it isn't, and if I'm really going to get better at design and, want to progress with my career, maybe I got to put that on the back burner for now. And that's something that I just do as a casual hobby, as opposed to really trying to get better and make it a big part of my identity. And so, now when I say a little bit of illustration, I gotta like say a little to almost non-existent, you know, uh, almost non-existent form of illustration in my life. So, it's kind of an eye opener, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Terry, what about you? How was your week?
Week was good. I was scrambling to sign up for my first master's class doing HCI. So that was I finally got in the class. I like emailed the professor like 4 times. That poor guy. He probably thinks I'm a nut job. I am a nut job. But anyways, I got that I got that all situated. I finally watched the first class, and then basically tomorrow night I got to do the other class, and then I did half of my homework this evening, and then now I got to do the other half tomorrow or Sunday bright and early. But other than that, just getting that down, helping a nonprofit. I'm about halfway done doing my deck slides for my conference talk down in LA. That's going to be February 22nd. If you guys are, it was going to be down in LA, but they actually had to move the site. Um, it's actually I'm over at ADP in Pasadena. So I'm not sure if the tickets are up on sale or not, but looking forward to that. And that's pretty much about it. And just trying to get enough sleep and not and try not to get sick because everybody I've seen has been like sick.
'Tis the season.
So I know she's the season to be jolly, to the season not to be sick, I guess. So Rezo, so how
Yeah.
was your week?
How was my week? Um, I was hitting the grind pretty hard. Just between work and then freelance, pretty much doing a lot of data entry. Um,
Mm.
and then I wound up was invited to go see a wrestling show, and
Oh, nice. How was that?
that was actually pretty good. It was like an AEW show. It was called Bash at the Beach, and I had to get on Vivid Seats. I've never heard of this app before. Oh yeah, Vivid Seats, and it was pretty easy actually using this app, but their service fees was like astronomical. It was like $14. Um,
How much was the ticket?
I think it was like $40.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh,
Eighteen,
well,
and it was 18% of the actual, the ticket
ticket.
price. It's actually crazy. Um,
Yeah.
Besides that, not so much as exciting as you guys though. You know, um, working hard in the wee hours in the morning on the East Coast over here in Florida. Oh,
Oh
that's
yes, that is right. I'm so see going live, and he just reminded me. See, we're in California, and he's in Florida right now. So on the other side of the United States, but awesome. Okay, so let's get into your portfolio. Um, we do have questions that basically um, Rezo just wanted to try and give us and everything like that. But um, but let's hop in. Okay, so for me, anytime I look at a portfolio, I always go to their about page. I do not look at that work first. Adam, what about you? Do you go look at that work first, or do you go to their about page first?
For me, it's work first.
Why?
Because during the interview process, trying to select a designer, first you need to get down to the weeding of down to your top, let's say top 10, top five. And so I don't have time to read everybody's bio. So I just look to see where they're at, right? I could just do a quick look already. I haven't even looked at the work. I'm here at Ray's just intro to each piece. And without looking, I can say, okay, I think he's at a good spot. Move on. Gotta go to the next 40 or so applicants, and then I could go from there. But yeah, that's the only reason why I start with the bio. I mean, with the portfolio.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. Oh, you're changing your mind on me already? That's that's funny. That's funny. I do the opposite. I want to know them as a person first,
Mhm.
then then I know. I actually I actually look at the work last because for me, if I'm well, in the future, if I ever hire anybody, on my team, I want to make sure they like have my back because if we're down on a wire on something, I want to know without a single doubt I can delegate a task to this person and that person will just take it and run with it and I don't even have to worry about. So again, everybody out there, everybody does it a little different.
Mhm.
Whatever company you work for, it's different. The process is just different. But 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 what I really liked about Ray's bio here is basically he talks about right away about having background in project management, art direction, graphic design, animation, fashion, and toy design. And what I thought maybe he could really bring himself out more because he does have a very unique way to bring his industrial design and basically toy design. I mean, I really think the toy design is another way he could brand himself as well because when I see everything, right, it's like, okay, you know what, all the designers, okay, they have project manager, yeah, art direction, yeah, graphic design, yeah, animation, yeah, fashion, oh, toy design. So why is that like hidden, like right there? That should be the opposite to actually attract the person coming in reading about you. Like, what other skills that basically toy design and UX design have in common? And then I would bring that out more. And you keep on saying it has taught me to solve problems and to think outside the box. Again, please don't take this wrong, but everybody thinks outside the box. So that is a given. So like I don't think you really need to say that. And then I do like this. I encourage my colleagues when deadlines are tight and not keeping moral high and and my work environment peaceful. So again, so that's telling me, you are a team player, you're there, and you think about others and everything like that. So, and then you mention know how to work in a fast-paced environment where everything can change at a moment's notice. I think that's great. Again, have adaptable to keep my mindset cool, not destroy my workflow and efficiency. I think that sentence before and that sentence, those two sentences, you can probably combine that into of a more impactful piece. So basically, what I'm trying to do is basically, you have this paragraph, right? if you can cut this paragraph in half and make each sentence kind of like a statement, but have it run together and have it blend in a way that's like, boom, this is me, this is what I have to offer, bam, you're done, right? So again, it's more like a statement. It's like, oh, this guy's cool. Oh my God, he's a toy designer. Oh, he's calm and yoga, or whatever it is, right? So that's just my um, two cents. And then also too, of you did mention about throughout the years, I have always placed myself into the customer's shoes to see what I was designing for them was something of value if they could want or use. I would like to bring the same heights to designing digital products for that user. So why is that on the bottom? Which that's a very thoughtful statement. Same thing when you talk about, you know, toy design. So I think you should take that piece, put that on top, and then integrate that with the toy design because I think you'll have a bigger impact. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, Adam. Do you have anything to add? Because I know I've been talking for a while.
Yeah. So I like the statement. I also like um, your bio. I think it's a little long, only because I'm not sure who's seen it in what environments. I know that in a lot of business environments, most of the people that aren't designers all have kind of PCs and they're like small. Right now, I'm like on a 13-inch, MacBook. Most of them have something way smaller than this, or it's about a 13-inch, I guess. I actually have a 15-inch, and so I would look to see when you look at your bio in a smaller environment, it tends to run a little long, and so I would just think about cutting that down a little bit. Although here it's fine. Well, okay, because I was looking at it on mobile on my phone, and yeah, I was like scrolling a
Yeah,
little bit just to get through it.
scrolling.
But I mean, I doubt that they'll see it on the phone anyways. I do like a lot of things you have to say. I guess outside the box, those are all kind of buzzwords. I think Terry kind of made a good point there. The things that I look for when hiring people is this, right? Knowing how to work in fast-paced environments. Um, that is something that's always important. Or in most of the companies I've been, they need to know that people work in high pressure, right? Sometimes there's a lot of fire drills because that's the way our kind of business is. And having that fast pace, having that, knowing that you're cool, and that you expect to be in a fast-paced chaotic environment. We don't know, it's not always the case, but just to have that in there is great. I don't care for this as much. I strive to produce every day. But what I like is this, where you talk about throughout the years, I have always placed myself into customer. You're throwing these kind of UX ideologies out there, and that's the kind of stuff that just like you're just like slightly hinting at it, and so I like things like that. So throughout the years, I have always placed myself in the customer's shoes to see what I was designing for them. If what I was designing for them was something of value that they could want or use. And then, like Terry says, we want to put this up to the top. That's fine. So one thing that I would include as well is the type of environment that you like to work in. I know, so, I guess in design, there's kind of um, there. I know when I was interviewing, they would ask me if I preferred working in an office or working remotely, because their setup was for to work in the office or to work in teams. I guess it's a thing where a lot of designers work more independently, and so I would, if that's the way you work, kind of put that in there as well. What helped me was saying that I like to work with teams and like to be in a work environment, and so that's just kind of my input in this as well.
Cool.
Cool. Okay. Okay, I want to go over to contacts. Contact.
Okay, the bottom. Yep.
Um, yes, okay, thank you for your time. It would be interesting to hear your questions or comments about my work. I would enjoy having a great conversation with you. Make life easier for everyone. Wait, make life easier for every user we can find. Okay, all this like bumbly thing down here from thank you to you can okay, again, this is just my opinion. You can just get rid of that because the last line, that's awesome. Making life easier for every user we can find. Perfect. Contact. That's what you do. Right there. Simple statement. Adam.
Yeah, 100% agree. That's all that is more just fluff that they have to get through. When you just have like a nice little tag at the end, that's great. I also like too that you also just kept it to your Behance and your LinkedIn and not put in your other social medias because, unless you are like heavy on Instagram, people get work that way, but you don't need the rest. I don't think employers need to know about your Twitter unless So I like that you condensed it down to just those two.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think on your resume, this will be a very great tagline to have, making life easier for every user we can find. And then after that, if you scroll up to actually to your bio, and when you have toy design, right? Again, try to figure out how like toy design and like UX and add, I don't know, a grabbing word from like what you've done doing toys because number one, everybody loves toys, right? I don't care how old you are. You're a kid, if you have kids that love toys, or like this, you love toys, or basically, it that is such a good talking point during the interview that it it just is because again, who doesn't like toys, right, Adam? Or basically, am I just completely totally crazy?
Well, one thing about it is that I mean, when you're competing with a bunch of other designers that are pretty much
Mm-hmm.
at your same level, at your same
Mm-hmm.
skill set. So what's going to differentiate you from the rest of them? Hey, you're the toy guy, right? Like you're going to have
Bingo.
something that's memorable, something that keeps you. If you're going to have something that kind of separates you a little bit, have pick something that'll make you memorable. And so, if you do mention toy and designing a lot, you could I wouldn't say only talk about that, but you could talk about that during your intro when you're talking about your past experience, just so they know that you've been around in an industry for a while, and so you kind of have a background that's unique, that could bring a unique perspective.
Okay.
Yes. And that's what they are looking for is are definitely unique. What kind of skills can you bring to our team to make our team more like I don't want to say valuable, um, but again, they're going to work with you like 8 hours a day. Can they depend on you? Are you a trustworthy person? Do you bring up ideas and oh, let's try this. Oh, that's a great idea. Doesn't work. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Let's just try this. Easy. Like you said, easy going. Even though those are words, but you gotta back it up with action. Before we go on, the information that we've gave you, was it helpful? Was it not helpful? Do you have any questions for us if something didn't make sense, or you're like, no, I hate that.
No, no,
Shut
no.
up.
No, no. It's actually, you know, it's good to get other people's opinion. I love being critiqued on my stuff. Some people don't, but it gives me what you would see, what I wouldn't see um,
Hmm.
in my work. So I love people critiquing my artwork, whatever it is. I just want to see what their thought is and their thought process is. So, but it's actually very helpful. I didn't actually think about half of those things, but um, the contact, I was just pretty much being polite, but I didn't actually factor in the fact that yeah, it is a lot to read. So I never really thought about that, but yeah, I'll make that change.
Okay, cool. Yeah, again, this is always, of a two-way conversation, and basically if something doesn't really gel or like, well, I did this, like, oh, okay, well, maybe we can think of it, as a different way. Okay, so let's go to your portfolio. Okay, I always go left to right.
Are you all
Sorry.
right there, Terry? You sound like you're having
Yeah,
a.
I just got a coughing attack. I know people like to go right to left, but I always like to go um wait, people like to go left to right, but I like to do the opposite. Why, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, people like to showcase their best work first, and then so they'll kind of put whatever's left kind of at the end, and so that kind of really shows where they are during, when they're
Sure.
not putting, they're not at their peak. This is like them having to solve problems that wasn't their best compared to the first ones. But you want to start with word pupil project? Okay.
See. Okay. Yeah. So just kind of scroll down. There you go. Okay. Okay. For me, Adam, please chime in anytime. Okay. Okay. When I first look at this, it for me, it's hard to read because you got like bold, 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 bold,
Uh,
bold. So what would happen if you took all the gray and not made it bold? Maybe it might be a little like resting, a little bit more resting. I don't know, Adam. Do you get the same effect, or maybe it's just me?
It definitely, maybe that's just the way the font is, but it does look well. It also looks pretty big as well. What are we working with here? No, it's a
Font size 18. I mean, that's fine because the normal font size is either 16 or like 18 when you do that. But it just looks um old.
yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So that was just a little thing. Okay. Okay. So now you're saying this is my very first project in the UX design world. Okay, for me, I don't think you need to have that. I mean, you have worked before, right? It's not like, you are fresh out of college or anything like that. So personally, I don't think
okay,
I don't think, yeah,
that
yeah, I don't think you need
Yeah.
that. But but what I do like is like working my way through the UX jungle, trying to create a path. That's what you should be starting off with. That's awesome. I really like that. I think it brings like, oh, working way with the UX jungle. I get that. I had a day like that like last week or something, right? Again, you have to, whatever your words is, whatever the color, um, you definitely have to create a story, like, someone, you got to be someone. I know this is kind of lame to say, but like, you have to entertain them somehow, make them smile, make them laugh, at your stuff, because they will get excited. Oh, this guy's funny. Yeah, I want to meet him instantly. It's like, okay, yeah, come in, and then they want to follow you. Adam, any tips or thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with the first line. It's not doing you any favors
yeah.
to say that this is your first line. And yeah, I like Terry's idea of incorporating a kind of a character within your writing, right? Like if you're like the way you speak, incorporating your personality through it, letting people know, hey, this was tough, right? Like, oof, having playful language is always gonna just kind of help. people see who you are more.
Okay.
And that's the key of what Adam just said. Adam, can you repeat that again, please?
I said, it'll help you. Basically, it'll just help people kind of get a better sense of your personality.
Okay, great. Okay, so problem statement, I think that's fine. Principles applied. Um, this is just me. Instead of putting them in two lines, maybe you can do two columns or maybe three columns to do the bullet points
Okay.
because at least I can scan of my eyes. My eyes can just scan. Okay, so he knows to do wireframing, research, testing, but now I go, okay, but all this research, interviews, you are making my eyes work, and you don't want to make recruiters' eyes work because, again, there's a job and there's probably 400 applicants with that job. Okay, tools, same thing. Have it bullet point. Adam, do you have a preference or comments?
I would just make it easier and make it into icons, like you
Oh,
know,
yeah,
uh,
that's a good one.
like a lot of these, what needs to be read here. Kind of these things you could redo the applied principles in a different way. Like this could be like this
A,
technically doesn't
a
need to be written
drawing.
out, so you could have like an image that has like these kind of laid out more, it's kind of like more interesting. And this too, like they don't need to read Adobe Illustrator, Adobe, just have the icons. They'll get what they'll get what it is. And if it's a recruiter, they might not know what these are, and so it wouldn't matter anyways if it's in there. If it's a designer that's viewing it, they'll know what the icons are.
That's true. Good, good stuff. Okay, so we're talking about your with your discovery here, your component analysis. For me, I like to see the images a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Um, uh, yeah, because like me, again, everybody is like a little bit different. I like to see, um, you know, you know, what you wrote, and what your thoughts, because right here, I think your thoughts are like the most important of to get the sense of like what you're thinking. So okay, so if you scroll up, interviews and the map. Um, okay, I really like how you did this. You use different colors to highlight stuff. Um, this is actually really easy to read for me. Adam, you got thoughts?
Yeah, I was just gonna compare the two, right? When you look at
Right.
this, I'm not sure if I'm looking at when I'm looking at these three images side by side. I'm not sure if I'm looking at the pros and cons, if that's part of like the screenshot of the image, or if that is kind of like this, where you're presenting that for me to read. Since it's so small, I can't read it. I don't know if you're trying to tell me anything from that. So I'm gonna assume that these are just screenshots from the app, and I go, okay, well, it seems kind of, I don't know what you're going for there, but okay, you know.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So scroll
Oh, sorry, sorry,
down.
sorry. Also, by
Oh,
the way, I definitely love these.
oh yeah. Those
These are
those
these are really great.
out of everything else, I like the what you said, being a toy designer, and then this so far, and your contact like little thing at the bottom. Okay, okay. Yes, this is nice. I mean, at least your personas are big enough. I can read them. The colors. I mean, I think that's fine. You can definitely, okay. And then we go to user stories. That is a lot harder to read than what I read above.
Okay. Okay. I will make those corrections.
Yeah, I mean, how the way Adam kind of like said, bring in icons or bring, how can you make that into something a little, I don't want to say different, but to match what you have in the
Yeah.
middle, match it on top. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. That makes total sense.
Okay, so if you go down, oh my God, why are these so small? They're so small. I mean, for me, these things are like pieces of artwork. I love to see sketches. I love to see drawing. I love to see what you're thinking. I don't care how messy they are. Messier the better. But I want to see them. And right now, I have no idea what it looks like, a map of a city or something. But like, I want to see those screens. I mean, at least for me. Adam, you got an opinion?
I agree. I do like that. Just at a glance, you can see the amount of work that went in and the thought and the user flow. And so, as as uh, um, as just as a at a glance look, that's fine. But I'd prefer if these were stacked on top of each other and where you
Yep.
could expand these so it fits the whole frame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
just have like
Absolutely.
one for each kind of
Yeah. How
like
you have.
like
Yeah.
this.
This.
This is great. You can see everything. You know, you don't need to like the actual getting into the weeds of what everything is. It's it's not necessary, right? I don't need to know where each steps are, but you know, just the fact that you have it in there, and just in case if I want to, if I have the option to look in and get a deeper dive, I do. But if back here, I don't. Like I can't see anything. It could just be scribbles. They might just be like not even an app, and so it would be hard for me to um, like get a deeper dive into what are all the in like what's the context of everything. And so this is great here. I love that.
Yeah. So do I. Okay. Go down. Ooh, more. Okay. So you have the test plan. Um, I can definitely read this, and then I think the sizes, they're okay, but I think you can make them just a little bit bigger. I don't mind you having like the four across, but maybe if you made them maybe what, 20%, maybe 15% bigger. Adam, you got thoughts?
I like this. I think this kind of should be your base. I mean, yeah, sure, the body text could be a little bigger. That's fine. But I would say um, pick one of these. I would say this, and then try to mimic it throughout. Because then, you know, when you go to here, now it's a different experience, and then so it's kind of it just kind of needs to be a little more cohesive. Where um, it's like I don't know. It just takes me like I don't know. It makes it kind of hard to differentiate what parts where the sections are because here this is
Mm-hmm.
a section and you know like where I guess discovery is one section and then competitive analysis, but then when I go down then it's you know personas user story and then prototyping and wireframe. Is this still considered discovery
Under
because
that
now
section.
it's a different header treatment, it's a different you know and then user flow. Well, you know, how you breaking all this content down? It's a little, it's kind of you have a lot of different levels of hierarchy here that aren't quite clear.
Okay.
So let's see.
Okay.
But but I
So
like what you're doing here. But do you see how like here like you're designing now? You're designing these kind of these layouts, so they're now they're more visually interesting to me. Now they're broken up into little tidbits so I can read them in little chunks. This is a lot easier to read since you broke up the character spacing, as opposed to kind of this where it's just long, kind of long form. I don't really want to read this as much as I can read these, because I feel like I could, because I feel like it's shorter now to me. And then now you have the images down on the bottom. I get that this is one image that you probably have here, and so if you're going to go that route, I would recommend doing going, picking one or the other of live text or the text within an image. But I would kind of prefer going, maybe as like your intro, you have that as live text, but then have the rest be kind of in an image like this, because you could see now you can have things like this, which you can't do on the website, right? You can't have these two phones, on one side or the other, and having the text kind of sandwiched in between. You can't do that on like on these website builders. Maybe you can. It's a little harder to do, and then the reflow will be a little weirder. And so, but doing this in an image, you have a lot more control. So you could break this up as well, like
Mm-hmm.
break this up so it's shorter. But yeah, also love this. This is pretty cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. I always like to have maybe a nice little image on the top too, because
Yeah.
just in case, if if the recruiter doesn't have time, and here's like, okay, here's like a couple samples, like one or two, and then you have your prototype link on top too, just in case it's like, oh, you know what, I have like 10 seconds, it's boom, everything is just up there in that one little pocket of area, just in case if they don't have time. If they do have time, then they can scroll everything down and stuff. So do you have any questions for us after we just went through everything?
Uh, no, I'm actually really putting a lot of thought into what you guys are saying. Um, that last thing you mentioned actually is a great idea. I never really thought about that, in the sense of showing like an image with the link on the top. So that's
Hmm.
pretty pretty.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. So, oh, Adam, do you have something to say? I don't want to interrupt.
Well, no, I was gonna say too. I mean, I feel like I like what you did here, right? As far as the style and style guide goes, I would say, get this look and feel that you have here, with like this colored background, the type of typography they use, and find a way to incorporate it throughout this and
Yep.
make that be your style guide for just this whole project, right? You don't have to make every background like this color, but you see you have these kind of two-tone blues. That's where you could bring in, during this like user flow, you can get those kind of colors in there. You can break up the sections into by having that blue background. Let's say, for example, this section that can be just so you know where the breaks are. It'll make it more visually interesting, and you'll have just like a it'll make the user aware that, okay, there's a change happening now. So it'll be easier than having, because you have, these are pretty long, which they're great. I do love that. One thing that's great that I noticed about all the different projects you have is you have the full story, and so that's the biggest thing you can have, which you're doing. So that's great.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, let's go back to portfolio.
Okay. Oh, so this is one where
It,
I needed to, right away what I'm going to tell you, right?
the image is way too long, large. It's
Yeah.
too long to buffer. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of the problems I had. I was like, man, why is this taking so long to load on my website? And then I realized, oh, this is the whole image, is the whole portfolio. And so yeah, that's always going to be an issue. I checked it too. It's like 13 megabytes, this whole thing. And so like, how I was saying about, you have better control of the typography, that's great, but if you broke it up into different points, it'll help you out a lot better.
Yes, I definitely like how you have the image here and you have the
Mhm.
the fit and everything, but also too you can probably cut it maybe like in half, like having like a white box underneath here, and then like the phone can be in front of the white, kind of like maybe like pop out, or just I don't know, just something dynamically visual, you know, statement and stuff. And when you go down, so once you scroll down stuff, I mean, how the way you have required features there, I don't mind the bullets because it's like boom,
Mhm.
boom, 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 boom. I mean, I can read that better. Mobile first approach. I don't think you need a background. It is kind of a little hard to
Sure.
read. Yeah,
Mhm.
just in that area for some reason. Okay, if you scroll down, you say you got your mood board. I think that's fine. And then you scroll down again. Again, these are so little. Why are these so little?
I
You
think
have
these
like
are a
one.
lot better though. I feel like they're
Yeah,
bigger. I think they're
yeah.
great.
Really? I mean,
Okay. That
okay.
could be bigger, sure.
Yeah. I mean, maybe instead of five, maybe you can have four
Okay.
across,
Mhm.
and
But also
then
also notice here too, everything's clearly defined, right? You have your mood
yeah,
board section, you have your low fidelity section. So you simplified it a lot better, and so it's more easier for me to um, find where the next section is. So this was done a lot better.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You got your fit style. I think that's fine. And you go down. There's your icon. Your mobile mock-up. That's cute. Mobile mock-up. Um, yeah, I definitely think some of these images maybe you can pick um, one or two and just make them bigger
Okay.
so we can see. And then responsive design, I think that's great. You're definitely showing the different sizes, the points, the breaking points. Okay, if you scroll down, let's see. I really like this how you had this down at the bottom. It'd be kind of, I think, it'd be kind of interesting to see if you can do just add maybe one or two, or maybe one more picture that has that like little marketing to it. I don't know, Adam. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the mock-up. I think it looks pretty clean. It looks pretty good. One thing though that is bothering me is this little laptop in the back. I feel like it's kind of hidden, and instead should be in front. Usually, when most mock-ups, the desktop view is always the one that's hidden the most. But I don't know, maybe because it's just kind of bugs me a little bit. I don't know.
And then also on the iPhone, you may want to update that too.
Yeah, I'll update that. Yeah, I kind of realized. Yeah, that's got to
I
be.
know. That's the one thing that I've been noticing too is the having to keep up with devices. It's always an issue, right? Like I hate
Yep. Welcome to our world. But yeah, like Adam said, this is definitely a lot more built out, more organized and stuff like that. So uh, any questions for us so far
Um,
on this one?
yeah. So just breaking it up, and I guess instead of two, I'll just make it four sections, and then see if that makes it easier for it to load. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and I'll make those adjustments of making it big, easier to see on those sketches.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Adam.
also would like to see just a little more of a story that you have. I mean, you have a little bit here, um, but you also, I think people like to know what was the ask, what you used to research, and then what were just some of the experience that you learned from it, right? So, maybe like a closeout statement of like, overall, this product was this project led to blah blah blah. What was the outcome of it, right? Did you have any learning experiences? What else came from it? Also, too, one thing maybe you might be able to do since you have Adobe XD, when you go to your prototype, the prototype feature, and you play the actual actions, it has a spot for you to record. So you could record kind of your movements. And so if you have a couple of screens mocked up, you can record yourself like going click, 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 and you can save it as a movie file, and then bring that movie file into Photoshop and crop it out and make it into an animated GIF and plop that in here, and then it'll show, it'll give somebody an idea of them going through the website or going through your app just by they'll click animations. So maybe that's something you could look into. Ooh. Can you guys hear the rain? It started to come down pretty heavily over here.
Oh my God, that's the rain?
Yeah, did you start hearing it right now? Because it
Yeah.
looks like it's dying down a little bit, but yeah, it's not a drum
Oh,
circle. It's the
it's
rain
not a
outside my
drum circle, it's rain. Well, everybody, the news weather in up near San Francisco, it's raining very, very hard.
window.
Okay. Okay, now we're doing
Oh,
German
sorry.
ink.
This was okay. You don't have a date also for this one, but I'm guessing it's done. Uh, I'm assuming it's done in 2018. The fitted, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I do like how you have the image of the man with a big puffy beard. And it's like right
Hmm.
underneath his nose. It's like it's mysterious. It's like who is this guy, right? Um, but also too, it, underneath your objective, purpose, and contents, the body text, it is a lot. It is heavy. It's thick. Maybe if you change the font, or maybe if you try to change the font into something, um,
Easier to read.
uh, yeah, yeah, and and one thing I notice in your other case studies, are they all the same font, or basically are they different fonts?
I think one of them. I think this one and the first one was in the same font, so I will make that correction.
Yeah, yeah. All through the website, you want to have it all the same font. I would think, Adam, do you have an opinion about that?
I would say, yeah. I would say yes. Yeah. I mean, what I was saying earlier about keeping within the style guide of your project, sure, but when it comes to the text, that needs to be that should all be the same kind of experience. Here, like for example, you're using the website's like its typography that it's offering, but here you have it at a reasonable size, I would think. But then back when you go to Word People, now it's like a way bigger experience. I'm going, whoa, it's like it's in my face.
Yeah.
And that was good. That was going to be my one thing. My overall comment with the three is that every single one is a different experience when you go, and so that's something I would look into. I mean, here you have the objective, purpose, approach, and challenge, and so here you have, it's not even the same kind of wording. And so I would say look to kind of get that same experience, because if I'm looking through, let's say for example, I'm looking for somebody that does wireframes, right? So I'm gonna look down to your wireframe section, um, and I'll go, okay, I think it's down here. So this is how it's presented. But then when you go back here, it's in a different spot. Oh wait, now it's up here. Oh, okay, So I would also look to like structure it the same. It doesn't have to look the same as far as like style goes, but just have the same. Have it be have it be have everything put in the same
Spot.
spots, like yeah. So like if you go to a different Target, you know where everything is because the targets are built the same. So think about that kind of thing where at least have the same wording, the same kind of flow, so that it the so that people know where to go as they're navigating it back and forth. Sorry, but go ahead, Terry.
No, actually, that was a great all of those things. That was a great idea of when you say, oh, so when you go to Target, you know where everything is at Target. I really like that as that example. Okay, so where do we left off? Can you scroll up a little bit? Okay, see, I mean, get lost. Okay, so approach challenges. Okay, um, okay, so you got your project overview. That looks kind of small compared to what you have. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Do,
what's the difference?
Yeah,
So what's the difference between like the project overview and then Adam, if you can scroll up just for a little bit. Sorry. Because you have project overview and then you have purpose, approach, challenges. It's like you're saying it twice for some reason. There. Okay. So I would go back and just kind of, as Adam was saying, have everything of the same, and and try not to repeat it because it looks like it's doubled. Maybe it's not, but maybe it's the wording.
okay.
Okay, if you scroll down.
Sorry, and this is another one too, where since it's kind of too small, I don't know if this project overview, if this is you telling me about the project, or if this is like a screenshot that was during the project, and so it's like it's more just for me to see and not really. But then I guess if I go down, okay, I was like, oh, this is the whole thing. But then it's so small that it's so it just needs to be bumped up a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, move down. Again, I think we already talked about trying to separate the sections, and then
Mm-hmm.
the whole personas. I think they look great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything, maybe just a little, maybe a tad, just a little bit bigger. That's just me. Okay, scroll down. Keep going. Okay, got your user journey. I think those are fine. You can definitely read them. Um, but one thing that basically I noticed, I don't see like the line. It's it's like everything is floating. I don't see where it ends, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the only tidbit on that, just for me. Adam, you?
I think these all look pretty great. I do see like this is exactly what I was talking about the separation
Mm-hmm.
of content. So I know here, okay, I'm getting because these screens kind of look the same, but since you broke it up, I have a better sense that okay, now I'm going into the user journey section. Now I'm going in. So if that can be done throughout, that's great. So this is well done in that sense. That's great.
Okay. And then the user flow, I think that's fine, but again, maybe a little bit bigger on, on some things. I think your information architecture is fine. Like I said, just maybe a little bigger. Um, okay, these are cool. I really like the wireframes. Um, how you do like 1, 2, 3. My only suggestion is maybe in between have the gutter a little bit wider. It's a little too tight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, you know, to definitely have space in between, because if you go down, it says this will enable your GPS, and give you da 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 da, and and then you have a little tiny space. So maybe if you those three bottom ones, just kind of push them down a little bit, so there's white
Yeah.
space around it a bit more.
That way you can read them better, actually, too. So, okay.
Hmm. Also here
Yeah.
too, like just I think just throughout going through each section, more
Hmm.
space will be a lot better too. Like this margin up here under mid fidelity, things like that. Like worry about your top and bottom margins.
Oh,
Yep. Yep. And then also too, I don't mind how you did this in the middle. I mean, even though they are small, I can still read them, so that's fine. That doesn't bother me. I I kind of like that. I mean, sometimes I like stuff big or like stuff small. I don't, it just really depends, I think. Okay, let me scroll down.
Hmm.
Um, the whole usability test. I want to read this. What is that? Is that a whiteboard?
Yeah.
Make that bigger. Well, whiteboards are so important. Sorry, I love whiteboards. Maybe it's just me. So, okay, scroll down.
See, I notice here you have a conclusion. There you go.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even see that. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, get your A and B test, your peer test. Do that fine. Then your style guide's fine. Yeah, just basically what Adam was saying. Just of your top and bottom uh, margins and stuff like that. And then I think these are fine. Um, like I said, pick out Adam if you can go up
Hmm.
just just a little bit. Okay, stop. Or go down. Go down just a little bit. Okay, stop. If you can pick um, like one or two of your images here and make them bigger. So
Hmm.
therefore, it's like, oh, this is a nice page. Oh, this is a nice page. Or so like I can have a fuller experience.
okay.
Hmm. Yeah, I would
Okay.
say definitely showcase like this kind of book artist kind of
Mm-hmm.
calendar or appointment um, uh, element here. Like definitely you can showcase this. This will be great. Things like this where it talks about the different artists, your different artists you can choose from, like things like that. The profile, a bunch of these will be kind of great because they stand out. They have a lot of variety in it. Maybe not so much the login pages or the menus, but like things where you kind of like an action keyframe will be great to showcase.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you scroll down and then again you're showing your responsive design,
Oh, no.
but actually you're really not really showing your responsive
Those
design
are,
because you're just showing it two things.
A little bit.
Yeah, and not the breaking points. I really like to, for some reason, I like the breaking points because at least I know that that you understand that. If that makes sense.
Mm.
So, anyways, do you have any questions for us for this case study?
no, no, no. That actually, you answered actually a couple of questions and a couple of thoughts. So it's just basically making it more unison from this one to the first project. So that's
Hmm.
Right. Okay, Adam, if you can go back to the homepage.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, so you have three projects. I know you've been working on other projects and stuff, so why are they not on here? That's just my question.
um basically just time. I'm just trying to get it, right. Getting right the working on two. I'm almost finished with them both. Um, the first one was like a bus app for Miami because the busing system is awful
Mm.
there.
Okay, cool.
It's really bad. So I was just trying to do like my own like revamping it and showing it to the commissioner because I actually know someone that knows the mayor. So
Oh, that's cool. See, right there. That's a story.
so and then the other one is I do believe was my grocery cart idea, which I do believe I spoke to you about. Um, a couple of weeks back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How I hate checkout lines at the grocery store. I hate going to the grocery store. Period. It's like you have 5 items and it takes you a half hour to leave. And it was idea was to to have a little scanner on the shopping cart, and so you would scan the item, and then the checkout line essentially is a person just looking at how many items you have, and then the cart tells you how much you have to pay, so that way there's never a dispute on how much what do you have in your cart versus what the price is, because then the system would automatically update what the price is, and the cart will tell you. So it's kind of like a one-two thing. It's a
Mm, nice.
I just hate the grocery shopping experience, and I know it could be vastly improved if someone actually wanted to vastly improve.
Yeah. Shopping.
I really hate going shopping for grocery store. I could go to any other store. I just hate going to grocery stores. No matter how many cashiers there are, you're still waiting 10 minutes plus.
Hmm. The whole experience from beginning to end, right? For me, going to Costco is like my biggest pet peeve. There's like never like the parking is always horrendous because it's always crowded, and then the lines are always super crowded, and it's like a madhouse every time you go. You can't go like during regular work hours because it's like the most packed. So I mean, you can't go during regular times after work, so you have to go like during work hours if you need to get something. And uh, I know. Fix Costco.
Fixed Costco. That's funny. Okay. Okay. Now part of the portion. We're
So,
gonna.
sorry. I wanted to
Yeah. Yeah.
give just overall thoughts,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I think
Let's share.
if you see the comments that we have, I think you'll notice too that none of it is about your work at all. Your work is great, uh, so that's that. Um, so that is not an issue. If I was looking as an employer, like the work that you're showing and how you're presenting it, like as far as giving an all-out story and giving your thoughts on it, having a style guide, things like this is great. So there's no problem there. I think the only big problem, if they're just a nitpicky problem, is just the cohesiveness throughout the whole site as a whole, right? Combining these three so that they kind of all tell the same story in the same way, I guess, or just presented in a similar way,
Mm-hmm.
so that people have the same experience going through each. And yeah, just fixing the images. If you're gonna have an image that's one size, it has to be readable. Just think too, like it's small enough like this on my laptop, and then on a smaller laptop experience, it'll kind of be worse. Yeah, I mean, so I would say overall great work. Just I would say find a way to make it more to make the experience the same throughout the three.
Okay.
Terry.
Yeah, basically, I totally agree with Adam that basically the work is there, right? But how do you present your work so when people come to your website, they know who you are, they know what you stand for, and they know what you can offer without even talking to you,
Mhm.
right? If you can do that through your work, people are going to call you
Okay.
because again, they want somebody on their team that they can depend on. Not only depend on, but like, oh, he's got a nice style, different, different experience, different skills. He can probably teach our team maybe a thing or two.
Okay.
So, overall, any questions to us? I know it was probably a lot of information, and your head is probably going, or maybe not. I don't know.
I've been writing it down, so it's 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 uh it's being recorded as we speak. Uh,
Yes, it is. So you can go back anytime, listen to it, stop, and listen to it again. So it's fine. But how is this? experience kind of like before and like after now? How do you feel now?
Oh, I feel much better. I feel much better. It's kind of like tightening the screws and refining and polishing the car. So I just need to give it more of a polish, make it
Cool.
just
Cool,
more
cool, cool.
easier to read.
You know what? I
Okay, okay.
change I change my opinions completely. If I was looking to hire you, I would not. And the reason why is because if you look at portfolio, you
Uh,
have it portfolio.
oh,
They need to switch that Al and I.
I will. I will fix that.
Okay, I'll hire you again.
Oh, look. I'm,
You're
I'm,
like, hey, you hired me to be a designer, not a copywriter.
yeah, have, well, Grammarly wasn't installed on there, so uh,
I
Oh,
know.
that's funny.
I always hate like I have to keep reviewing my resume like time after time because I always like miss one little thing and I go, oh my God, I've been sending this out for like I sent 50 of these and now I have to redo, that's so the that's like one of my biggest things, my headaches that I have to go through every time.
Mhm. I do like, I just now noticed this experience the bright side of design.
Hmm.
I just now noticed that. All your good stuff is like so small. It should be the opposite.
okay.
The good stuff should be out
It
there.
it's kind of like a running gimmick because my name is like King's Son in Spanish.
Yeah.
That's
Then
why
run with that.
that's why I had kind of like the little sundial calendar with the mouse thing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I noticed that right away. Like uh to get personal, one of the names I wanted to pick for my son was Ray, because I figured only people that spoke Spanish would kind of get the symbolism. But yeah, he's king.
Cool. So, okay. Um, I know we have a couple questions, and Ray, great. Now basically, I'm calling you Ray. Thanks,
that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. People call me all the time.
Razel. Basically, so you had a question for us that that whenever you get interviewed, right, and you get hired on a new team. So basically, how is it to be a new team member, and what is it like to have it on day 1? And then what is it like on day 30? And what is it like on day 60? So Adam, I'm going to hand this question off to you
Yeah,
and
I
you can
would
give
say.
us
Mhm.
your little
uh,
tidbits. That's all.
I would say it's a like I know people always get worried day one, right? Because you have to go through the process of everything. You have to get up to speed with the company, and most likely day one is you are focusing on uh, like introductions and processes and how the company runs. And so no one's expecting anything from you, but you're always going to think that they are. And so you're going to feel like, ooh, how can I be more helpful? How can I, and that's not going to matter. Right. You're not really going to need to do anything until like day 5 or something. Right. Cause you have to do all the compliance and stuff. Um, I would say as far as, so that's fine. And then the rest of the time, it's always funny too because yeah, um, I'll get to that later. Let's see, day 30. I guess it all depends, right? I'm speaking through the visual design lens, and so Ray, kind of more about that anyway. I would say it's just kind of getting to know your team a lot better. And I still think by day 30, you're still not going to be fully up and running. Like I know me in my current position, I'm still like I'm 6 months in, probably 7 at this point. I'm still in the process of learning everything that my company does because it's so big. And so I'm fully up and running doing my work, but like just there's going to be a bunch of things that you still haven't grasped yet, and that's going to be the case maybe for like another, hopefully less than another 6 more months. But I would say day 1 through day 30 is roughly the same, um, and then day 60 is kind of when you really kind of feel like you're really doing getting work done.
Yes, I would have to totally agree because when you do start a new job at a company, you you're even lucky if you get the right laptop. You might get the wrong laptop. So stuff happens
Yeah.
like that, right? So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just learn to breathe. Don't
Okay.
be so nervous,
Oh,
and just ask a lot of questions. I
oh,
mean, I mean, yeah,
that's what I tend to do. It's just, being as my normal day to day as a design job is like, okay, it's pretty much this is what I need and that's what I produce. And so, doing something in the UX field, it's kind of a different, it's going
Mhm.
to be very different for me. You know, it's,
Mm,
well,
maybe so, maybe not. Again, it really depends on the company, because if you find a role that basically you're doing both, then you're going to be doing both on a project. Or to
yeah,
say, if you're just going to be doing the UI portion, then you'll just do the UI portion. But still, when you do that UI portion, you still have to know some the UX as well. And also too, if you're doing UX, you're gonna have to know some of the UI. So I think it goes in hand sometimes, but maybe not all the time. But again, each company is so different, and their definition what UX is, or their definition what UI is different. I think.
Yeah, that's true. Each position has a different definition, or each company has a different definition of UX, and you'll be doing um, a bunch of different things. Your role is completely might be completely different than what you interviewed for.
okay. Oh no,
Not be,
that
yeah,
kind of makes sense. It's just for me, it's just I'm so used to like, just let me know what my job is, and then I will get it done. I just
Okay.
I'm grind.
Also there, also there. I don't mean to cut you short, but once you take that thinking and turn it upside down.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, "Oh, this is my job," you tell me what my job is. You tell them what your job is. What do
Okay.
you like to do? What do
Okay.
you want to bring to the table to be 5 steps ahead of a project manager?
Yeah.
You know, understand other people's roles to make their lives maybe a little easier. Would that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. In
Okay.
my in my current position is like I have a small team, is like just me and someone else and
hmm
my assistant. So I always try to find out, um, how to make things easier for them. That
Mm-hmm.
way I could get more of my stuff done if they could get their stuff done a little bit faster because it kind of runs through me. And so I'm always trying to, give them helpful tips and hints and just try to keep the morale up. Oh no, look at this. Damn network. What's going on with the network?
we can hear you, so you haven't disconnected yet.
Yeah,
Can
we
you
can
still
still
hear
hear
me?
you.
Yeah,
Yes. Technology. Isn't
I know.
technology great? Sometimes it works, sometimes um, it doesn't work. But can you still hear us? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Uh-oh, we might have lost him.
Oh, I
Oh,
Oh, there.
he's
apologize
back.
for that. I apologize for that. I should have known
Mm.
better. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's all right. That's all right. Okay.
I would
And
say
this,
I would say for newbies, you just need three things when you're starting a new job, right? You need one, the Wi-Fi password. Two, you need to know where the bathrooms are. Three, you need to know where the nearest burrito place is. That's it.
awesome, Adam, I love it. Okay. And you had a second question. So, basically, there are a lot of software out there, right? And what is it that you are fearful, but not just you, but just other designers are fearful about other software, and which one should we focus on? Because as you mentioned, there's Adobe XD, there's Sketch, there's Figma, there's Framer, there's I don't know,
UX.
what else is there?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, there's
UX Pen, right?
yeah, UX Pin and Marvel, and there's just so much. But my big take is definitely go with the big wigs like Sketch, Adobe XD. Just learn those two. Well. As much as you can. And then of course Photoshop and Illustrator from there. And then from there, if you want to branch out, you can. I keep on hearing Figma is the new
Hmm.
awesome tool to work remote with people. So
Yeah.
again, you know, the, again, it depends on your company. Are they half remote, or basically are they half in house? Because you might work for a company that basically you have a team here in the USA, and then you have another team that's maybe in Russia or in Asia. Who knows? So, Adam,
Hmm.
what what's your
Yeah,
opinion?
yeah, definitely agree. Right, if you're, I would say, don't worry about the new ones coming up. Right, the main one right now, the main two is Sketch and XD, and if you notice, they're literally like they're mirrors of each other, or there's only a few differences between the two. And what's going to happen too is w- most of the times when you start a new company, um, they're all going to show you what their process is anyways, right? So it technically doesn't matter because everybody uses the software is slightly different. Sometimes people don't use a lot of the features that's other ones have, and so you'll just learn how to use what the company uses, right? What your new team will use. And I forgot what else I was gonna say. Um, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much. Oh yeah, I was also gonna say too. Um, One thing I always worried about too is trying to be a cleaner designer, right? Trying to label my layers correctly and stuff because if I'm gonna hand it off, and then I realized that every designer is just as messy as I am, and so I stopped worrying.
That's true. That's so
It's
funny.
like as much as you feel like there's a proper, I mean, sure, if you're handing it off to a client or something, you want to make that as nice as possible. But if you're in a team, everybody's pretty much coming from the same uh, way of working, and so they're going to be just as messy as you are. So your style is probably their style.
It's funny. A couple. Wait, I think it was what 2.5 years ago. I was so worried, like, oh, my files and everything. And, I labeled everything. And basically, I got another senior designer's file. And I'm like, what the heck? I couldn't find anything. It was just so messy. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. So I don't know if they were in a rush or that's just how they design, but it was crazy. I don't
We're
think
always in
I've
a rush.
yeah, that that is very, very true. But but anyways, it is now I think we've been going on for a while. I kind of lost track of time, to be honest with you.
It's almost 1 a.m. where you're at,
No,
Ray.
no, no. It's two. Don't worry. I'm
Oh,
Oh,
totally with.
Jesus.
shit. Well, we should keep our mouths shut, man. You gotta work tomorrow, don't you?
It's okay. It's okay. I'll get some Cuban coffee and then I'll be fine.
Cool
Nice.
coffee. Awesome. That's awesome. Um, but anyway, is there any more questions that you might have?
Uh,
I want to take this opportunity to, if you have any more questions, we can address them
I
Or
as
think
well.
closing
If you don't,
thoughts.
yep.
Well, I'm very thankful that you guys are helping me out here. Sometimes, I really do appreciate outside input, and I'll get to work on everything that you guys mentioned. I kind of already fixed that portfolio uh, mix up
Oh,
already.
yeah. All right, let's see.
So, um,
Refreshed it.
um,
There you go.
There it goes.
basically,
Uh,
it's just once I get once I find a place or a place finds me, either or is fine. Um, I just I guess building the confidence is the only thing. The uncertainty of knowing what the day to day is for me is what kind of worries me. And once I find that out, I'm fine. Um,
but that's the
that's
problem there. But that's the problem there. I mean, you have good work. It's not like uh, you don't. I mean, Adam, if you scroll up just a little bit on his bio, okay, look, you have background in project management. You have background doing art direction. You have background doing graphic design. You have background doing animation. You have background for fashion design. And for God's sakes, you actually design what, two toys?
no, I
Okay. If
quite a
that
few.
if that doesn't say confidence enough, then I don't know what does. Right?
Yeah, it's just the way I think. It's kind of weird.
Well,
Like
then stop thinking that way.
I know. It's just like when I was in school, I always thought
You're
teachers.
not in school anymore. You're a
Oh,
grown man. You have
I,
a great website. You've got talent
Okay.
coming out of your
yeah,
ears. You just
it's
need to stop thinking like that and you'll be fine.
yeah, I know. It's just it hasn't escaped me yet. It's just like
Well, it should.
I know it should. It's kind of like when you used to go to school. Some teachers say, you guys start with an A, and I always thought that was kind of like crap. It's like, how can you start with an A? You didn't
Ooh,
do
that
it.
sounds yeah, that sounds intimidating. It's
Yeah,
like I can only go down from here.
exactly. So I was like, I always thought that you go start from the bottom and you wake up, you work your way up. So I always thought I had an F. So
Mm.
it incentivizes me to work harder. So that's just the weird thing about me. It's like if I feel like I'm not up to par, then it's kind of like a motivator to keep me going to work harder. So
Well, I can understand that. But also too, the stuff that basically you've been doing now, for like getting your interviews or getting callbacks. How's that been going? Having that set like mind frame, like,
it,
well, the confidence.
no, yeah, I've been getting callbacks, which is actually
Okay, good.
very good. I've managed to get the second interview. Third interview. I'm
Oh,
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
on a couple of places, but we'll just keep our fingers crossed. And yeah,
I would say
Okay.
also keep in mind too in your portfolio, right? Like let's say this is dermal ink. You did the beginning and end, the breadth of the whole project. Most of the time when you're coming in, depending on the company, you're coming in at this part. They already have a site, they already have a product that's live, and all you're doing is just making updates to it based off of like inputs, or you're making tweaks. So you're not going to be asked to do, well, again, depending on your situation, but most of the situations I've seen is you're not going to be doing this much work per project. You're going to have teams to help you. You're going to probably be taking on parts of it, right? If you're doing maybe you're just doing the personas for this round and somebody else is doing the journeys, or somebody else is doing this or that, so it's going to be broken down to manageable chunks, and so you don't have to, it won't be to this extent.
Yeah.
okay,
That.
that actually
And
makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
And
unless they're hiring
actually,
you to
that was very
start.
helpful.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just to me, it's just I just like to know what am I stepping into. You know, it's once I experience it once, I know I'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah, I think we good. So I think that's it. So Adam, so where they can find you on the internet?
Yeah, find me on Twitter. Although I'm not really on there, but I'm waiting for people to talk to me on Twitter, and then I'll be as active as possible. But find me there at Adan Cepeda. That's AdanZepeda, and you can find me on Instagram at adanz.designs, and that's with an S at the end. What about you, Terry? Where can we find you on the internet?
Yeah, well, you can definitely find me on Twitter. My handle name is Flaxenink, FLAXENINK. And then you can find me on Instagram, which is flaxenink.designs. And then you can find me on TikTok, which is just Flaxenink. And then people have been asking me questions on LinkedIn a lot lately. So I've been busy trying to do that. So, and where can they find you, Reysol?
Oh,
On the internet? Yeah.
Or any also too, this is the opportunity for you. Anything you want to promote, go ahead.
oh, well, I guess they could just find me on LinkedIn at Reysol Grant. It's pretty simple to find me actually on LinkedIn. I mean, it's the only
Okay.
one or two Reysols.
One or two races. You know what?
Great
I
SEO.
forgot to, you know what? I forgot to ask you this question. Actually, I get a lot of people asking me who who wants to get into into UX, right? And they're not sure if they should take a boot camp of any kind. Can you just share like one or two sentences about how was your experience and was it worth it or was it not worth it? Did you learn? Did you not learn overall?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, um, well, my experience was actually very helpful. It's I like school. I like that environment, even though I did it at home. But it was actually very enlightening. And I say that because I like to learn new things. I'm by nature I'm a program junkie. I kind of like going into different programs and try to see how they work and how to do things. So I'm always interested in learning new things. And the course, the way it was built, was actually very simple for me to understand and learn the concepts and aspects of UX and UI. So I actually enjoyed it
Cool.
a lot. So
Cool. All right.
and meeting
So
tutors like you guys, it's amazing. So
cool. So, all right. Sorry, Adam. That was one question that I totally botched and I totally forgot. So, again, everybody knows where to get a hold of us, and then yeah, and don't forget, Adam's gonna put the uh, the link. So when we're talking about this, you guys can actually see his website. Raysol's website. So thank you so much for actually joining us. I know it's like really, really late um, in Florida, but I hope this was um, great feedback for you. You know, take it. If you don't like something, trust us. You're not going to hurt our feelings
no, no,
or
no, no.
what.
I it's it's all in good, clean fun, as they say.
Mhm.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, everybody. So we're gonna end it now because I think this is gonna be like our longest podcast,
All right.
which that's a good thing. Could be. All right, everybody. Aloha. Bye.
Bye.